Hello everyone, today we are in conversation with Henna Jain Tatia, co-founder StuCred. StuCred, a one-stop destination for college students and their financial needs. Their mission is to help college students have access to common financial instructions and financial flexibility through a one-line credit. So let's not waste any time and get started. Hi Henna, how are you? How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Pretty well. Okay, so how did StuCred came up? What's the story behind it?
Cool. So, StuCred is actually co-founded by myself and my brother Jay. We're just a few years apart, so our university years definitely overlap. And during our time there, we struggled with certain budgeting issues and money management that many college students are facing for the first time in their life. And we were lucky that we had certain financial services available to us where we studied that allowed us to have access to a small but very helpful interest-free overdraft, right? Which really helped us kind of bridge those last few days of the month until our pocket money would come in at the start of the next month. So, during that experience, it really not only did it give us a lot of confidence with having access to a little extra credit if we would need it, but it also taught us a lot about how the credit system works, how to use it responsibly, and how it can really help you build your credit score, which is only going to help you in your future as we all go on to getting jobs, applying for credit cards, loans, and certain things like that. So we had this, beautiful experience. During our college years, and definitely we saw that when we were conversing with our peers doing their undergrads in India, there was a very stark difference, especially when it came to this area, about not only the knowledge of certain formal financial, services, but as well as the approach to how we thought about credit cards or something along those lines. So that's when we figured that there was a gap in the Indian ecosystem where college students are obviously such a large part, of spenders in today's economy and society. So, but they don't have that kind of access to small and affordable credit that they might need, even though they are not earners in society. Not all of them, though a lot of them are doing part-time jobs, online jobs now, but they are very much spenders. So that's so we took our experience and we kind of realized how that empowered us at the age of 22 to have that kind of flexibility, have that kind of knowledge, and have that kind of head start on our credit score, and how we felt that such a service would be so important for students in India as well. So that's where the idea came from.
Great. I mean, that's one hand story, and that's certainly something even I can relate to. I mean, 3 years of college and trying to juggle my finances, and the pocket money is like never enough. So that's one thing which is maximum relate. Okay, so next up, when we think about finance and technology, there's this common notion that it's the males on their screen, they are coding or they are filling in the charts. So, as a female creator, how do you look at this whole scenario?
Right. So I think first of all, I'd like to start off any topic in this space with this one quote that I came across. And it definitely resonated with me a lot, which was, that there's no such thing as being a feminist or, thinking that, women need to be equally represented there. I think it's you're either a normal person or you're a sexist, right? Women should be everywhere that men are. Any kind of gender biases, I don't think they belong in workspaces, especially. So, with that approach, I think we've always had that approach of, let us not be gender biased. It's all about your work. It's about how you do your work and what work, the quality of your work. So, being in the industry, I would say that I've had the opportunity to meet with amazing, founders and co-founders who have been women. There's this huge support network also for women in fintech and women in finance and women in tech, which is really coming together in a very strong way in India, especially today. So I think that is a kind of notion that you have, that these techies or finance people are either these men hunched over computers, or men in suits, but women look great in suits too. And I think that's something that we need to notice more, because it is out there, and the more we see it, the more we accept it, the more we can promote it, and it can grow as well.
True. Very true. Yeah. Okay, so what has been the biggest letdown in the journey, and how did you cope up with it?
So I think for anyone starting something new, especially a business, will relate when I say letdowns come, not only over time, but even over the hours in the day. I think you start off at a high peak, and then something happens, and then you have to deal with that. You learn so much during that course, and at the end of the day, if you really take a moment to reflect, it's amazing the steep learning curve that you go through. I think right now, definitely the pandemic that we're all living, with and managing, it's been a really challenging time, because no matter what we, kind of went in with in terms of planning, and in terms of projections, I think all of that is, for any industry, any country in the world, it's definitely been a big hit. And I think we launched officially in October 2018. So we were just picking up our momentum. We'd finished our first year very successfully. The response from the market has been absolutely incredible. And the pace was just picking up. And so suddenly having this kind of global shutdown, I think, has definitely been a huge challenge. But that being said, again, for anyone who's young and starting out, the kind of experience that we've got over the last 6 months, just navigating through this pandemic, is more than a lot of people have seen in the last 60 years of working even, right? So I think it's been a great learning time, but it's also definitely been, I wish it had not happened when it did. That being said, I think the whole world, the global community, has come together in a very interesting way to fight this pandemic, and hopefully just looking forward to being done with this as soon as we can, to go back up to a more integrated society, interacting with people. I hope colleges are open, because definitely online classes are really good, but meeting people face to face is also a really, really important skill that you hone during your college years. So just praying for that.
So let's just hope it gets started again. I mean, I feel really bad for these freshers beginning college. I mean, their journey is just beginning out, and they began with behind their screens and not a face-to-face interaction. That first day of college, I mean, they'll never get to know how that feels. That's one of the kind of things. So, when you began StuCred, or when you began your journey in the world, tell us about things that you wish were different back then, and the things that you see which are currently existing. Like, my point is something that you see currently and you wish was different back when you began.
Right. I think in that sense, if I'm going to focus on the product itself, what we do at StuCred, so of course, like you said at the beginning, we give an app-based credit line for college students, which is 100% online. And I think, a lot about how we launched StuCred was about the timing that we were ideating it and then developing it and then launched it into the market. That's correctly when we had India Stack, and we had Aadhaar KYCs, which were possible, as well as we had Beam UPI, which really make our transactions so seamless, sending money directly from our account straight to the students' bank accounts. So I think in that sense, I'm very grateful for the timing that we did have when we started. I think that like anyone who's looking to start something, even if you have a great product or a great team to execute it, you do have to look a lot at the timing and the environment in which you're planning to launch it. And that does it's a make or break factor as well. So in that sense, I think I am grateful for everything that happened during that time. Everything came together very well. I think as we go down and grow, now there's a lot more players in the same sector or similar sectors as well, maybe lending to a slightly different target audience, which is in a way we were pioneering through how does these things work, what are the legalities, formalities, things like that. And I think now that structure and that model is coming up, so that it's much easier for new companies and new teams to kind of come in. So yeah, I think that it might have been nice for us to have more peers when we were starting out to kind of have that industry growing. But I'm really happy that that's growing now, because I think the opportunities are limitless, truly. So yeah.
True. Very true. Okay, so this is one question we have from the audience. We asked our followers something that they would like to ask you. So there's this one question we had. So pandemic is already a very distressing situation, and we anyways had to carry on with our lives. The students got their online classes, people started working from their homes, and it just went on, although we all were scared. So the
Yeah.
question is, how to manage mental health in such a hectic schedule, that too during these distressing times?
Yeah. I think, there's no perfect answer to that. I think as long as you are aware about where you stand, both in physical health, mental health, and you know where you want to be, that can be certain small changes that you can make to your physical exercise, perhaps to your diet, perhaps to your habits or hobbies, or one thing that I made sure I implemented especially during this lockdown year almost, is to wake and try not to touch your phone for the first half hour, because I think a lot of our age mental health can in a way be tied to mobile phone usage and social media usage and all of that. And we kind of just get zoned in to the screen, and before we know it, it's like half an hour and we're still in bed. And I think for mental health, a lot of physical activity is very important. So try and get up, try and do something, even if it's not an exercise, like breathing, yoga. There's so many options online for resources that you can get. So I would say really try to stay active, make connections with people, be it online, be it the people that you live with or people that you can see from your balcony in a safe, socially distant way. Just try and be more out there. Of course, if you're feeling anything, try and find someone that you can share, talk to. Don't feel that you're alone.
That's some great advice, especially about the phone part. So that's one thing even I do. I am still half asleep and I'll switch on my phone and scroll through my notifications, and that I know that's wrong, but that's inevitably how I end up beginning my day. So that's
Let's break that habit.
So let's just make it a bit light. And okay, so this is one question even I had. Who is Henna Jain Tatia? If we keep StuCred aside, who are you? How do you chill? Where do you hang out? I mean, how do you like to enjoy yourself?
Okay, tough question. I think definitely. See, it takes a lot out of you to start something new, and being my maiden venture, I think truly we've given a lot of our effort and energy over the last 3 years to StuCred itself. So taking that away from me, that's a really interesting question. Honestly, let's just say this pandemic, as much as it's kept us indoors, I think I've been pretty okay with that, in the sense that I think it's a great opportunity where we're able to refocus on to family or close friends. I think the whole world was going at a very fast paced in the middle.
Do you like to read?
I do like to read. In fact, I do have a book that I'm reading right now. So I would recommend this book to absolutely everyone. It's called Hooked by Neerayal, and it is a book. It might sound that it's focused around marketing, but it is not. I think for anyone who wants to start anything new, it will definitely help you understand your customers, and that is one thing that I love to do on my free time, even though it's not totally separated from StuCred, but really with our target audience, especially every year it gets a year younger because we have new 18-year-olds who are eligible for loans, and who this year are born in 2002 and in a few months will be born in 2003. And definitely, I think this generation is very different to the one that we are from. I think the way they communicate, the tone, the language, of how they understand things, especially serious topics like finance, loans, repayment, interest, penalties, civil scores, and credit scores, things like that. It's really important for us to make sure that as a brand and as a company, we are unlearning what we already know with our existing base, and every year relearning how to communicate with our audience group. So both this book as well as online resources, constantly just trying to stay connected and stay updated. I think that's something that takes so much time as well. So yeah.
Where do you like to chill? For some people, it's bookstores. For some people, they like to party. For others, they just like to go exploring. So, where do you like to chill if you're not working?
I think in that way, I'm quite a homebody. So I have my pet dog, who's a Labrador, and so it's usually just playing with him, and he's a full-time job as well. So much energy. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, that's one amazing. You get to keep a dog. Congratulations.
Well, it's out of Chennai, so we're very lucky with a beautiful coastline, and a very nice city as well. So try to stay as outdoors as possible, because definitely with work also, again, you get zoned into your laptop and your system. So take every chance that you can to kind of go out, travel, explore something new every day.
Okay, so three things that you love about your work and three things that you hate about it.
All right. I think I'll start with the love. So I definitely really appreciate the fact that whatever work we do, we're able to see the feedback directly. That can be in terms of the user engagement or in terms of the reviews left on the Play Store. We can really see the impact that we're making. And I think that's something that drives me to keep working harder every day. Something else that I do love about my job is the fact that I'm able to share this passion with my sibling, which, we weren't that, super compatible brother and sister growing up. So I think that now that we're able to have this common goal and this common passion, and we have this, shared vision of where we want to take this, I just absolutely appreciate that so much. And the third thing that I would say, though there's so many more, is the people that I meet along the way. That could be our team members, that can be other people from the industry, or people like you, Rashmi, who I think what you guys are doing at IPU Buzz is also so incredible, creating this community for college students to be able to engage, not only find entertainment, information, news, and updates. I think it's really incredible. So I just love the kind of people that I get to meet doing what I do.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks.
Sorry, if I come to the hate part, I think it's being a founder is also being someone who goes to work, right? So getting up early, being on time, driving through traffic, long hours at work. I think at the end of the day, the founder is just one of those employees, and it's those shared frustrations that we all feel. But I think at the end of the day, you got to put your head down. You got to know why you are working. Try and make sure that you're passionate about what you're doing and just power through. Hard work will surely reap rewards.
That's interesting. That's quite a lot. Okay, so next up. So with the ever-changing shift in economy, how do you look at this whole investment scenario? And how do you think people, especially today's youth, will be investing in coming times or even like the current times?
Right. I think once again, the post-pandemic world will definitely, I think, see a focus on healthcare, on technology, and anything else that kind of enables us to not only deal with what we've been through over the last 6 months, but also the possibility of something like this recurring again. So I think that in terms of where the focus is going to be, definitely those areas. Yeah, I think that it's very important for the youth to also make sure that they are investing, learning about investing, reading about it. I think the earlier you start, the sooner that you're able to kind of pick up what's going on. And you can always start small. This is also something that we've used as, a very integral part of our logic of building our product at StuCred. That, as soon as you enter at a low tier limit, and as you transact on the app and build your credit history with us, we're able to push you up to higher tier limits and higher credit amounts. Now, that is also to ensure that we are nurturing responsible borrowers through our app to make sure that you are able to borrow money and repay on time and learn how that has to happen in the real world as well when you 10x those loan amounts. So I think the same way when it comes to investing, I think you need to start small. You need to learn from your mistakes. You need to burn your hands at some point, and then you're able to deal with a lot, more as you go along.
So how do you see StuCred changing in say 5 years or 10 years? What's your vision for your initiative?
Yeah, sure. So I think that we definitely see StuCred as being the one-stop shop for college students in India for their finance needs. We hope that we are able to expand into other areas where students may right now not have a solution for their day-to-day, transactions or their day-to-day needs. So definitely looking forward to learning so much more about the youth of India. I think there's so much energy, there's so much, talent there, that continuing to work with our users through connecting with them on the ground through our products. I think we're definitely very focused on how can we keep helping college students in India, because they are the doctors, engineers, artists tomorrow, and we want to be there for them today. I think college is a very interesting time when your parents are like, okay, now you're in college, you're a grown up, you have to deal with things yourself, and the real world looks at you like, dude, you're still in college, you're still a kid. So you're often stuck between the two, which is a very tough time to maneuver. So we just want to be there to help you through those years any way that you need us to be.
I can totally relate. I mean, my final year of graduation, and true, the world would be throwing things at you, and they'd still expect you to be the kid. And yeah, it's a tough time. I mean, indeed.
Definitely.
Okay, so one advice or one thing you would like to give to your 18-year-old self.
I think I would tell Henna at 18 to be braver. I think, I think all of us have a tendency now to want to do something, and somehow we come up with these amazing reasons not to, and convince ourselves it could be something small like, I'm going to go for that run today, or it could be something big like, hey, I have this idea but I need to do more research into it. And somehow, we need to make sure that we're braver, make those risks, ask those questions, speak to those people, go out there and just do more. So I think, yeah, I would tell her, be brave because you have nothing to lose.
So, we deal with all sorts of people. We have technology enthusiasts, we have financial enthusiasts, we have people that are none, that neither deal with technology nor with finance. So, what is something you would pass on to the student community?
Right. I think you guys are, the future. You guys are the future, right? So I would say make sure that you guys are aware of, what you hold. I would say that you mean like in terms of any specific kind of advice, or what? How do you want to frame this question?
Mm, a basic advice, I mean, something like you would want. I mean, you have been into the field for 2 years, and so something you would want students to know in the future entrepreneurs. There are people that are wanting to start their businesses. So one thing you would pass on to them.
Okay. All right. So I think what I would want to pass on to students of today, whatever field you're coming from, is make sure that you have a good relationship with learning. A lot of us look at, when we think of learning, we think of exams and books and something very boring that we just have to deal with, and then we can't wait to, get over and done with. But that being said, you know what, honey, life is a lesson. That's it. So I think make sure that you're honing your relationship with what does learning mean. Today it could be books, tomorrow it could be experiences, and day after it could be, people that you're having these life lessons with as they come and go through your life. So try and understand who you are and how you relate with learning. And I think that could be one of your strongest toolkits as you go and grow.
That's one amazing advice. So, with the market fluctuating, market has gone through quite a lot in the past 6 months, and a lot of startups came up, a lot of startups went down. So, as to someone who wants to begin a startup, so one thing that you would want them to know in these fluctuating times.
I think, even now more than ever, it's really important to make sure that you're very clear with, your idea. It's fine to have something vague, but make sure you're doing that research, right? Make sure you're making those plans. It is even, no matter how straightforward it might seem, how simple or complex your idea might be, I would just advise everyone to take the time, plan things out, go into every detail, be flexible with it, but don't not have those details thought through in your head. Because I think with fluctuating markets especially, perhaps that reduces the kind of risk element that you are able to have with whatever you're starting. So make sure that you take the time, do your research before you start putting something out there in the world.
That's great. Thank you so much, Henna, for joining us. We finally come to the end of the interview, and thank you so much for joining in.